rats. If you ever told, you ever tell, I hate you, like with a passion. I really hate rats with real passions. Like, I hate you bad. I'm looking to the camera. I hate rat.
Lil Durk was out here moving like a true shot caller, making the feds resort to methods usually reserved for dismantling organized crime families. Federal authorities have him on tape admitting to killings. Yes, you read that right. Not just one, but multiple murders. It's alleged he had his brother's killers taken out and even ordered the hit on an informant. Baby mama Durk wasn't exactly sitting on the sidelines either. She was flying in his muscle on private planes, fueling speculation about just how deep this web of loyalty and betrayal really goes. This story is bound to get even crazier. Imagine this. Lil Durk, a man who's publicly stated he despises snitches, might end up behind bars because one of his own crew turned on him. It's been reported that OTF Jam, a longtime and trusted member of Durk's circle, played a pivotal role in the federal investigation that's now threatening to bring Durk down. According to court documents, Jam had been freed from prison in 2022 after serving a hefty 12-year stint for attempted murder. Unbeknownst to most, he had been working with law enforcement for years, secretly gathering intel on the OTF crew. And the most shocking twist? Jam had been wearing a wire while hanging out with Lil Durk and the rest of the team. Nobody saw it coming. The indictment reveals that Jam's covert recordings and testimony were instrumental in tying Lil Durk to a now infamous murder-for-hire scheme that nearly cost Quando Rondo his life. For anyone familiar with the relationship between Durk and Jam, this betrayal is absolutely mind-blowing. Jam's recordings, which form the backbone of the federal case, might go down as one of the most jaw-dropping backstabs in hip-hop history. OTF Jam wasn't just a crew member, he was like family to Lil Durk. Over the 12 years that Jam spent behind bars, Durk provided unwavering financial support, covering his legal fees, buying him a home and a car, and even gifting him over $50,000 in cash. Durk stood by him, ensuring he had everything he needed, both in and out of prison. But after all that loyalty, what would drive someone to turn on their closest ally? What could lead Jam to betray Durk so completely? The answer may lie in a chilling rumor. It's been suggested that Lil Durk was somehow linked to the tragic death of his baby mama. Once Durk discovered that Jam had been wired up all along, the betrayal hit him like a ton of bricks. Now, if the reports are true, Durk seems ready to get his revenge. Lil Durk was well aware that taking out an FBI informant could bring the kind of heat that no one survives. So instead, rumors swirled that he targeted his child's mother, Octavia Redmond. What unfolded was nothing short of devastating. On a routine day in Chicago's West Pullman neighborhood, the life of a respected postal worker, Octavia, came to a brutal end. It was July 19th, 2024, around noon, when tragedy struck. Octavia was doing her job, preparing to deliver mail outside a Chicago home, when a stolen SUV pulled up. The vehicle, which was later identified as the getaway car, was driven by a 15-year-old. Without warning, the young suspect stepped out of the SUV, approached Octavia, and unleashed a storm of gunfire at close range. The attack left Octavia critically wounded, lying on the ground as her assailant sped off in the stolen vehicle. Despite being rushed to Christ Hospital in critical condition, the 48-year-old woman couldn't be saved. She was pronounced dead soon after arrival. The senseless killing of Octavia Redmond sent shockwaves through her community, and the Chicago Police Department launched a full-scale investigation. Federal authorities joined in as the U.S. Postal Inspection Service offered a massive reward, $250,000, for any information leading to the arrest and conviction of the individuals involved. They took to social media, announcing the $250,000 bounty to bring Octavia's killer to justice. Investigators turned to surveillance footage from police and private cameras, piecing together the suspect's movements before and after the crime. The stolen SUV was quickly identified, and an anonymous tip provided the crucial lead that cracked the case wide open. For months, the hunt for the shooter was relentless. Finally, a major break came when law enforcement tracked down the suspect in Cedar Rapids, Iowa. He was arrested on a murder warrant, bringing a sense of closure to the months-long investigation. But while the killer was caught, The betrayal within Durk's circle ran even deeper. OTF Jam, once one of Durk's closest allies, became exactly what Durk despises: a snitch. Even after this shocking betrayal, Durk's move against his child's mother solved nothing. The damage to his inner circle had already been done. The bigger question now remains: what did OTF Jam reveal to the authorities that could potentially cost Durk his life? The story OTF Jam shared with the cops begins with the tragic events of November 6, 2020, a night that would forever alter the trajectory of hip-hop's landscape. That evening, King Von, Lil Durk's closest ally, lost his life outside an Atlanta nightclub. It all started as a physical fight between Von and Quando Rondo. Things quickly spiraled out of control, turning deadly when someone from Rondo's crew, identified later as Lil Tim, allegedly opened fire on Von, shooting him multiple times. Surveillance footage captured the shocking sequence. Von approached Quando Rondo and landed a punch, knocking him to the ground. Chaos erupted as Von's crew jumped in, pummeling Rondo as he struggled to escape. Then, seemingly out of nowhere, Lil Tim emerged from behind a vehicle with a firearm and began shooting. Von, struck in the torso, was rushed to the hospital. Despite the efforts of surgeons, he succumbed to his injuries during the operation. For Lil Durk, the loss of King Von was devastating, not just on a personal level, but as a catalyst for ongoing tension with Quando Rondo. Rumors spread that Durk had placed a bounty on Rondo's head, igniting widespread speculation and unease throughout the music industry. Court records reveal that OTF Jam provided startling testimony. After Von's death, Durk allegedly used coded language to offer rewards to anyone willing to take part in eliminating Quando Rondo. Durk's cousin, DeAndre Wilson, reportedly told OTF members that those involved in the murder would be compensated, not just with cash, but also with coveted music deals through the OTF label. In August 2022, the situation escalated further. Word reached Durk's camp that Quando Rondo was staying at a Los Angeles hotel. Allegedly acting on this intelligence, OTF members, including DeAndre Wilson, Keith Jones, David Lindsay, and Asa Houston, traveled from Chicago to Los Angeles via San Diego, reportedly funded by Durk himself. The group, driven by loyalty and the lure of financial incentives, allegedly followed detailed instructions to avoid any direct connections to Durk. Federal investigators later uncovered evidence in Durk's iCloud account suggesting that he warned his team not to use his name for any travel arrangements, ensuring his involvement would remain in the shadows. Despite the warnings, the crew pressed forward, booking their flights with a credit card tied to Lil Durk and OTF. Upon arriving in Los Angeles, the group rendezvoused with Kyan Grant, a high-ranking associate who had flown in on a private jet. Grant became the linchpin of the operation, securing hotel rooms, purchasing ski masks, and arranging 2 luxury sedans to be used in the ambush. Court documents detail that Grant also supplied Jones, Lindsay, and another unidentified individual with firearms. One weapon was even modified into a machine gun, escalating the deadly potential of the planned attack. As the day unfolded, the group tracked Quando Rondo and his associate Robinson through Los Angeles, keeping a close tail on their Cadillac Escalade. Their surveillance led them to several locations, including a marijuana dispensary and a West Hollywood clothing store. The tension mounted as the suspects waited for the perfect opportunity. The pivotal moment came at a gas station across from the bustling Beverly Center. AA Houston reportedly positioned their vehicle strategically behind the station, setting the stage for the ambush. When Quando Rondo and Robinson stopped at the gas station, Jones, Lindsay, and the unidentified man leaped into action. Armed and ready, they exited their vehicle and opened fire in a hail of bullets. The aftermath was chaos. Though Rondo escaped unharmed, tragedy struck. His cousin, El Poo, was standing outside the Escalade and was fatally shot in the gunfire. Bystanders scrambled for cover as the suspects quickly fled the scene. The group later regrouped at an In-N-Out Burger, where they allegedly discussed payment with Kyan Grant. After the conversation, they returned to Chicago, flying out of San Diego, while law enforcement began piecing together the details of this brazen attack. Word on the street suggests these murders aren't isolated. Allegations have circulated that Durk's reach extends to more killings, his brother's murderer, and even someone who defaced Von's mural. It seems Lil Durk's operations have been reckless for a long time. The earliest reported murder-for-hire case tied to Durk is connected to the death of his own brother, D-Thang. The tragedy unfolded on June 7, 2021, outside a strip club in Harvey, Illinois. Shots rang out that Sunday morning and D-Thang was struck in the head. This loss marked the beginning of a string of violent incidents that would continue to haunt Durk's inner circle. D-Thang was pronounced dead at the scene, sparking immediate speculation and chatter in the streets. Whispers pointed to a man named Stephen Mack as the culprit behind D-Thang's murder. Rumor has it, Lil Durk allegedly put a price on Mack's head. By January 7, 2022, Mack met a violent end at the Youth Peace Center of Roseland, located at 420 West 111th Street in Chicago. Not long after, two men, Anthony Montgomery Wilson and Preston Powell, were indicted for murder for hire. The plan leading to Mack's death was said to be carefully orchestrated. According to prosecutors, Montgomery Wilson, Powell, and unidentified accomplices conspired to kill Mack in exchange for money. Evidence presented in court tied their scheme to a cell phone and a 2014 Chrysler 300, which prosecutors argued were used as facilities of interstate commerce. When Mack left the Youth Peace Center that day, gunmen reportedly emerged from a vehicle and unleashed a deadly spray of bullets, killing Mack and wounding a security guard who, thankfully, survived. The indictment, initially kept under wraps, was eventually unsealed, laying out serious charges against Montgomery Wilson and Powell. Both men faced allegations of conspiring to use interstate facilities to commit a murder for hire. Montgomery Wilson also faced an individual murder-for-hire charge and a firearm charge. As the case moved forward, Montgomery Wilson was taken into custody, pleading not guilty at his arraignment. A lengthy and contentious trial now loomed. His legal team would argue against the government's evidence, including photos from the U.S. Attorney's Office allegedly showing him pursuing the victim with a gun. Meanwhile, Preston Powell remains on the run, with law enforcement actively searching for him. Among the most shocking accusations linked to Lil Durk is the murder of FBG Duck. When Duck's killers were apprehended in 2021, word spread that King Von had put a $100,000 bounty on Duck's head. But insiders hinted at a deeper twist. Allegations arose that someone in O-Block was working with federal agents, revealing that the financier of the hit rewarded the killers with custom-made O-Block chains. A video even surfaced showing King Von gifting these chains to O-Block members. Yet, Chicago sources claim it wasn't Von, but Durk, who funded the hit on FBG Duck. Evidence, they say, lies in the arrest footage of the suspects. Notably, Moop and C. Murda weren't arrested in O-Block. They were taken into custody at a private hangar. Such a location raises eyebrows, as it suggests the use of a chartered plane. Few, if any, regular O-Block members could afford to fly private. At the time of their arrest, King Von was no longer alive. That fact has left many pointing fingers at only one person, someone with both the motive and the means, to arrange such an elaborate and costly operation. Lil Durk has also faced speculation about his involvement in the death of one of FBG Duck's closest allies, FBG Cash. The alleged reason? Cash's bold and disrespectful act at King Von's mural. After Von's tragic passing, Cash posed in front of the mural, flashing his middle finger. He then captioned the photo with a provocative statement, "Whole world witness Joma Sniper get his slacked." This public diss didn't sit well with Von's crew, especially not with Lil Durk, Von's closest friend. Durk appeared to take up for Von by addressing Cash in his track Computer Murderers, where he rapped, "Sneaking pics by Von mural like Lil Bro won't come out and spin." Cash, seemingly enjoying the spotlight, used the same beat from Computer Murderers to continue his taunts, even singing, "Von got his ass clapped. You had us thinking he was stretched." He didn't stop there. In interviews, Cash poked fun at his rivals and claimed, tongue-in-cheek, that it was actually Durk who told him to post that notorious mural photo. But things took a dark turn as tensions escalated. A warning from Durk on social media gave fans a chilling glimpse into what might come next. Durk posted on Instagram, "Don't diss thing if you be lingering and chasing. This won't end well," signaling that trouble was on the horizon. On June 9, 2022, FBG Cash's life came to a sudden, violent end. That night, he had been picked up by a female friend heading out to a nightclub. Afterward, they went to a friend's house for the night. Around 5 in the morning, as Cash drove home with the woman in the back seat, his car stopped at a sign on the 1600 block of West 81st Street. What happened next was brutal and swift. A car cut them off, and 3 men jumped out, guns blazing. Cash tried to return fire, exiting the vehicle to defend himself, but the attackers quickly overwhelmed him. Gravely injured, Cash was rushed to Christ Hospital in Oak Lawn, where he passed away. What makes this even more chilling is that just weeks before his death, Cash had reportedly been involved in another shooting where he suspected a setup. That time, he was grazed in the arm and lived to recount the ordeal. However, on that fateful June morning, the violence caught up with him in a way he couldn't escape. That morning, after leaving the studio, Cash went to a woman's house. Around 4:20 a.m., her phone began ringing incessantly. Cash believed it was her boyfriend. The woman then revealed that her boyfriend had a key to her place and could show up unannounced at any moment. Not wanting to take any chances, they left the house, jumped into her car, and drove off with Cash sitting in the passenger seat. It was then that Cash made a decision that may have saved his life. He reclined his seat and laid back, focused on his phone. As they drove home, they stopped at a red light. Suddenly, a car pulled up behind them. The woman assured Cash it was just a police car. He glanced back but couldn't see clearly, so he returned to his phone. That's when it happened. A hail of bullets shattered the rear windshield. By sheer luck, Cash wasn't in the line of fire. The woman quickly sped away, preventing anyone from being injured. People close to Cash warned him about hanging around the woman. She was an Instagram model, and they had only been on a few dates. Some of Cash's associates suspected she might have set him up. While Durk's name has been linked to several alleged murder-for-hire schemes, he isn't the only rapper who's faced such accusations. Even one of his closest friends in the industry, Young Thug, has been caught in a similar situation. In May 2022, Fulton County District Attorney Fonnie Willis unveiled a bombshell, a 56-count indictment accusing Young Thug and 27 other alleged YSL members of operating a violent street gang in Atlanta. The prosecution claimed that YSL wasn't just a music label, but a criminal organization, Young Slime Life, that was affiliated with the Bloods. The indictment painted a picture of a group responsible for more than a decade of chaos. From murders and assaults to robberies, illegal gun possession, and drug sales, prosecutors alleged that YSL members terrorized the Cleveland Avenue area of Atlanta. This case drew a stark parallel to Durk's situation, showcasing how deeply intertwined hip-hop and criminal allegations had become. At the center of Young Thug's indictment is the claim that he was the undisputed leader of YSL. One of the most shocking allegations stems from the 2015 murder of Donovan Thomas Jr., also known as Big Nut, who was reportedly a rival gang member. Prosecutors allege that Young Thug rented the car used in the hit, while 5 other YSL members carried out the killing. As the trial unfolds, the music industry is anxiously watching to see if the responsibility for Big Nut's murder will ultimately fall on Young Thug's shoulders. But Thug isn't the only associate of Lil Durk to face accusations of taking out rivals. Reports suggest that Young Ace may have done the same. Once friends with both Lil Durk and Quando Rondo, Ace allegedly orchestrated and funded the murder of his fiercest rival, Julio Fulio. According to Julio Fulio's mother, her son's death wasn't random. It was a planned hit. The allegations echo accusations leveled against Lil Durk, who was said to have offered money and lucrative music deals as rewards for carrying out hits. But unlike Durk, another rapper, New York drill artist Chef G, took a different approach. Instead of cash or record contracts, Chef G was accused of treating his gang members to extravagant dinners after their violent acts. Chef G's crew had reportedly expanded its reach beyond Brooklyn to Manhattan and even into New Jersey. Brooklyn District Attorney Eric Gonzalez alleged that Chef G used his financial success to fuel gang operations, encouraging members to engage in violent crimes. One particularly brazen incident involved a mass shooting in Brooklyn. Gunmen reportedly rolled up in a car and unleashed a barrage of bullets at rival gang members. The attack left one person dead and 5 others injured, causing chaos and panic among bystanders. In the aftermath, Chef G allegedly rewarded the perpetrators with a lavish steak dinner at a Manhattan restaurant, a chilling reminder of how deeply violence and influence can intertwine in the world of rap. The last rapper on this list, who once had beef with Durk and Von, nearly saw one of their close associates, Chief Keef, lose his life. The tension between these artists was no secret. Social media posts and diss tracks kept the feud smoldering for months. But what really set the stage was Tekashi 6ix9ine Ine's connection to Kuda B, whose real name is Kintea McKenzie. As a member of 6ix9ine Ine's inner circle, Kuda B was known for his unwavering loyalty and readiness to back him up at every turn. The hostility between 6ix9ine and Chief Keef escalated over time. In the lead-up to a shooting that would shake the rap world, 6ix9ine engaged in a series of taunts and challenges directed at Chief Keef and his crew. Tensions reached a boiling point when, in late 2018, TMZ released footage showing 6ix9ine INE on a FaceTime call with Tato, Chief Keef's cousin. During the call, 6ix9ine INE asked about Tato's whereabouts and whether he would be with Keef during an upcoming New York visit. Then, shockingly, 6ix9ine INE mentioned a 30-pack, a $30,000 bounty, on Chief Keef's head. On June 2, 2018, the brewing animosity turned to violence. As Chief Keef walked back to the W Hotel in Times Square during the early morning hours, gunshots rang out. Miraculously, he wasn't hit, but the attack sent shockwaves through both the hip-hop community and law enforcement. Investigators quickly pieced together the details, zeroing in on Kuda B's alleged role in the shooting. Kuda B soon found himself in the crosshairs of the investigation. His involvement in the plot to target Chief Keef would ultimately lead to his guilty plea, marking a turning point in the case. This revelation only added to the cloud of drama surrounding 6ix9ine, further blurring the line between street rivalries and organized hits. As Durk now sits in jail awaiting his trial, the question lingers. How much truth lies behind the allegations against him, and how much is just speculation? As the rap world holds its breath, fans and industry insiders can only watch and wonder whether these murder-for-hire claims will end in conviction or prove to be nothing more than unfounded rumors.